Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 for Switch and Switch 2 was revealed in the September Direct, but even more surprising was the $70 price tag for a pair of Wii games that are nearly 20 years old. This topic has been getting a lot of coverage, but instead of just going over the pricing itself, I want to look at what this release means for the future of remakes for the Switch 2 generation and how Nintendo can make releases like this a more catered experience for fans going forward. Also, does this remaster move the needle on us getting big first-party remasters for older GameCube and Wii games? Well, let's get into it. I do think there is a silver lining here right off the bat that is getting somewhat lost in the conversation. There is a positive angle here in terms of popular games getting remastered treatments on both Switch 1 and Switch 2. Seeing these games re-released in a proper official set makes me hopeful that we could get a similar release for Metroid Prime Trilogy and even some Zelda titles that could be released as a bundle. Nintendo is showing us that just because they released Galaxy 1 in 3D All-Stars, they're still willing to package remastered games in other arrangements, which would be the exact same case with Prime 1 Remastered if it were included in a complete Prime Trilogy remaster. Of course, it's a double-edged sword because I don't want to keep paying for the same games over and over in different bundles, but on the positive side, it does show that great games that are anticipated by fans have a real possibility of receiving remasters moving into this current generation, especially if the game in question has some tie-in game or upcoming release. I think that bumps up the probability that Nintendo would do something like that, and Prime 4 is the perfect opportunity to give us a trilogy remaster. Nintendo likes to use old games from the vault to drive excitement for new releases. Just look at the release of Donkey Kong Country Returns HD 4 months before the Donkey Kong Bonanza announcement. So they could easily do something similar for Prime 4 and a trilogy remaster. On the other hand, this bundle also confirms that Nintendo has not changed in the way that they handle these HD collections. It's easy to get caught up in the online backlash to prices, and yeah, I'm frustrated by the price too, but this is nothing new. The closest example of this I found was Pikmin 1+2. When that released in 2023 for both games, you could get the bundle for $50 or get an individual game for $30. So exact same pricing structure, both beloved games as well, but it's still not nearly as bad as the $70 sticker price for 20-year-old Wii games. The question is this valuable to you at this price point? For some people, it's way too high, but for others who are interested in having access to these games on their system, then it could be worth it for them. These are both excellent games, and it's not the quality of the games that is the issue. It's their age and their availability. Galaxy 1 is 18 years old, and Galaxy 2 is 15 years old, and yet you can grab either one of them off eBay for 10 or 20 bucks. So you gotta ask yourself, are the upgrades on offer here worth an additional $10 or $20 for what you'd get for a used version on eBay or Amazon? For me, I'll probably pick this up because I love these two games so much and I want them on my Switch. So I would be willing to save up for this bundle. I have both these games on Wii, but for me, this is like buying a Criterion edition of a movie, even though I have an old Blu-ray copy. I like having a nice enhanced edition of a movie with added special features and improved visuals and sound, and the same goes for a game collection like this. That being said, I still have some pretty major issues with Nintendo's handling of this, and I think there are ways to make these bundled releases a more worthwhile experience for fans. I would really like some added physical content if I were getting the physical release, and not just a $50 amiibo, but something unique to the games that is included with the $70 price. The problem with these remasters is that they just feel like the bare minimum requirements have been met for the price Nintendo is asking for. And worse, Nintendo takes no time or thought to acknowledge their fan base in these collections. Not with Pikmin 1+2 or 3D All-Stars, ever. They know we love these games, yet they do nothing to add in a physical booklet with never-before-seen artwork or an included poster or something like that. And to be fair, they are putting out a physical version of Rosalina's storybook, but then they're selling that separately for $25. It's like, Nintendo, stop milking us for every penny and add that physical book with the game. Then I wouldn't feel so frustrated about paying $70. It wouldn't even be that hard to ship. Just put the game box in the storybook in a little grooved section or something, and then ship the books out. That would be an awesome physical tribute and re-release of the game, and make it feel like you're actually honoring the impact of these games, not just shelling them out for the Mario Galaxy movie release. The actual content on offer here is not the problem. It's the packaging of all these elements, the two games and the physical book. There has to be enough new material or enhancements for whatever price you're asking for. For $70, I think I should be getting some other physical content, whether that's including one of the amiibos or the storybook, or even a new booklet in the game case with new information on the development of these games. Just something. I think with remasters and bundles like this, Nintendo has to start treating these things like a boutique movie restoration company would. Make this Galaxy re-release like your Criterion Collection edition of the Galaxy games. Add something meaningful to the release because it's a meaningful release. But instead, they frustrate me because of how they've only met my expectations and are acting like they've exceeded them with this price. Now, I know the argument can be made that this is meant to appeal to casual fans, and we don't need a bunch of added knickknacks or things tacked on to a simple remaster. But then you have someone like me who is a fan and who wants something catered to a fan experience. And I think you can hit both markets even if you add a physical trinket or a new booklet or something like that. Do I think they will start doing fan-catered remasters along those lines? In all likelihood, no. But if they did go back to doing something like a Prime Trilogy remaster with a bunch of cool artwork and nice packaging, I would be happy to support that. Of course, seeing Wii games get a proper remake with an added layer of care is always something I'd support, and Nintendo is very intentional in the games they choose to remake, especially from the Wii era, which I actually talk about in this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.